Hello, welcome back to News.Markets. From publishers to cable TV networks to advertising titans to music streaming platforms, shaky results overall from the media industry set off a new wave of investor anxiety. Shares in major media companies declined sharply after Time Warner reduced profit expectations for the coming year, partly because they need to invest more in technology to keep pace with digital TV viewing. Meanwhile, 21st Century Fox missed quarterly revenues expectations, and even though they ended the fiscal year in profit, Disney is scrambling to maintain the growth that investors have come to demand, particularly after reworking growth expectations in August, a move that really spooked the markets. Well, Hybridan's Darren Nathan has compiled a review of the media sector, and he's here now. Thanks for coming in. Look, there are a lot of changes that have been going on. What have you been seeing? What's going on?
Well, you know, the media sector constantly evolves, especially with the technological shifts we've seen. So everything we know about media, the way we view it, the way we listen to it, and the way we read it changes. And once you think you've been through the change, then it changes again. You've seen this particularly with music. You know, everybody was downloading music until not so long ago. Before that, everyone was listening to CDs. Before that, it was vinyl. Now, downloads is out again, and we're moving into the streaming era. So companies have to be really nimble and on their feet to keep up with the changes in the market. So
changes in technology, but also changes in consumer demand. That's what's driving a lot of the changes within these big organisations.
You know, you see the ad blocking coming up these days, which for some people is perhaps tripping up the entire digital advertising model. But at the end of the day, if consumers want content, it has to be paid for somehow. So I think the industry will adapt to these changes, and there will still be a return to be made.
So there's opportunity there. Where's the growth that you see?
I mentioned streaming companies. Obviously, you've got the monolithic giants such as Spotify, who are taking up the entire consumer range of things, with tie-ups of Vodafone and the likes of that. But one small company we like the look of is 7 Digital. They've been growing via acquisition, and they've now got market-leading business-to-business streaming platforms. So, you know, niche people who you wouldn't think would be involved in music streaming, such as Sainsbury's, they're white labelling a service for them. Radio stations such as Jazz FM, they're doing a heavily curated service for them, and I think there's a really nice growth platform there, and it's quite a unique marketplace.
That does sound exciting. What about publishers? Have you got any picks there?
Yes, and possibly in parts of the market you wouldn't necessarily expect. I mean, regional newspapers, that you think old school print, there's a real decline there, and yes, they are declining, but it's still an interesting demographic for advertisers. You recently saw Trinity Mirror take full ownership of Local World, so that only leaves one other major competitor, which is Johnston Press. Johnston Press is the biggest regional news publisher in Scotland. Yes, their revenues are declining, but they've refinanced and they're managing to grow profits on the back of that. And in the background, whilst the print side is coming down, the digital advertising platforms that they've invested heavily in are starting to catch up. So I think that is one to watch, and it's on a sub 4 times PE multiple, if you believe those earnings, of course.
And we've got time for one more to watch.
Perhaps in the advertising agencies, Next 15 is an interesting one. It's been a very good performer. Having said that, it's one of the only pure plays on digital that are out there. It's got a very high percentage of digital revenues, and you've got the likes of WPP, who are desperately trying to get their digital share up, so definitely one to watch.
So some of the smaller players are the ones where there's real opportunity for investors.
Indeed.
Darren Nathan, thanks ever so much.
You're welcome.